Here is a question like the former question, and could have dealt with it together, but it'd been too long. So someone asked, what do you think about head coverings? I think everybody ought to have several of them. One for winter, one for summer, and a couple for dress. I have a coonskin hat I wear in the winter, and I have several bill caps that I wear during the summer, and I have a leather hat I wear during the summer. So I do believe in head coverings. And I think women should wear hats too whenever they need a hat on their head from sun or something else. Oh, I think I know what you really meant. 1 Corinthians 11:3, but I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man. So this is the point of this passage about women and head coverings. There's a trend today, a movement in the church for women to wear head coverings. That movement comes out of insecurity in Christ, a sense of failure to please God, and a desire to do something outwardly, some outward mode that makes one, sets one apart and makes some symbol of sacrifice or commitment. And that's why it takes place. All right? He says, for every man praying and prophesying, having his head covered, dishonoreth his head. That's why men take their hats off when they pray, or even when the Pledge of Allegiance, they take their hat off. Because they are saying, I have no headship here. My headship is government. My headship is my country. I'm not exalting myself. Or my headship is God, whatever the situation. But every woman who prayeth or prophesieth with her head uncovered dishonoreth her head. Difference between a man and a woman. The man should not have his head covered when he prays or prophesies, and the woman should have her head covered when she prays or prophesies. Makes a difference. Why? He's going to tell us why. First of all, he says, if the woman be not covered, let her also be shorn. That's short hair. But if it be a shame for a woman to be shorn, of course, he and all of his writers knew that it was a shame for a woman to have her beautiful long hair cut off. That's an assumption he doesn't have to prove. But if it be a shame for a woman to be shorn or shaven, let her be covered. So he says, a woman cuts her hair off. He said, okay, go ahead and just shave your head bald. Oh, no, I'd be ashamed of that. All right, then let it grow out. Because he's showing the extreme. He said, if a man indeed ought not to cover his head, for as much as he is the image and glory of God, but the woman is the glory of the man. There's a difference. You got a chain of command here. You got God the Father, and under that is the man. God is his head, and under the man in this chain of command is the woman, and the man is her head. That's husband and wife. For the man is not of the woman, but the woman of the man. Neither was the man created for the woman, but the woman for the man. For this cause ought the woman to have power on her head. Power is her head being covered as a statement of control from up above. A power on her head because of the angels. So there's a mysterious, I won't go into here, but a mysterious thing about how it makes an impact, impression upon the angels for the woman to say, I am under the authority of the man who's under the authority of God, so don't touch me. It causes the woman to be in a place to where she is less likely to be attacked by satanic forces. Won't go into that now. Judge in yourselves, is it comely that a woman pray unto God uncovered? He's appealing to nature again. He said, judges, is it right for a woman to pray unto God uncovered with her hair shorn off? Doth not even nature itself teach you that if a man have long hair, it's a shame unto him? But if a woman have a long hair, it's a glory for her hair is given her for a covering. So it gets down to the point that the hair itself is the covering. So a man should not have long hair because it's a covering, and he's under God's authority, but the woman should have long hair. She's under the man's authority. So, what about head coverings? Practically, to answer it this way, if you're in church, dear lady, and you have short hair, and you have an opportunity to pray, then you need to cover your head, and that's not a little doily. That won't count. It's got to be a head covering. The Jews use one. It's about this square. Look like a tablecloth. They put that thing and it drapes like this over their face. Comes down over the head and their shoulders. You don't even know who's behind it. You can't see anything. And they bend over and they pray like that. Their head's covered. And if they prophesy, they should do the same thing. Cover their head and do it meekly. Prophesy. If a man prophesies, he should not have long hair and not have a hat on. He should stand up boldly and prophesy. God makes the difference. I didn't. That's the way the scriptures read. And the hair is given for covering. So, lady, if you have long hair and it's not pinned up, then you can pray in the church and you're covered. Don't need anything, don't need a tablecloth. You can pray just like you are. Or you can prophesy if you have long hair and it's down and covering your head and shoulders. You can prophesy. If you don't have, if you got short hair, you need to cover it. That means that there may be a woman who has the gift of prophecy, who's in the church, got short hair, and prophesies, and God uses her. She should wear a covering. If she doesn't, she's not God's enemy. She's still his child, still acceptable. It's not going to be a concern to me. Now, if I'm in my church, I'm going to instruct people on it, but if they choose not to obey it, now, when I say instruct people, I mean like once every 5 years I might mention it, like something like this, but otherwise you've never heard me talk about it, because it's not my issue. It's between you and God. It's not a custom. We have no such custom, neither the churches of God. He says that, following that passage up. So, it's not a custom that we're going to enforce upon anyone. We're just telling you that's what God feels about the issue. That's what he says. If you want to please him completely, then you need to observe these things. That's the answer to that question.